Everybody, it's your girl Angie. Welcome back to Kiss My Cheeks TV. I am here with my good friend Charles again. We're here to do Survivor, not last night, but Wednesday night's episode. How are you doing tonight, Charles?
I'm doing good. As you can see, we both have two different locations in our
I am in a different
backgrounds.
location. Charles knows why. I pulled my back yesterday. That's why we didn't do we didn't do the live
The
last night because I
challenge.
pulled
Yeah.
the challenge. I didn't do any videos last night because I pulled my back and I was just not in the mood. So I'm in my office today, sitting in a chair, a comfortable chair. So me and Charles are getting it together tonight. The challenge, the trio, will be next Thursday. Me,
Mm-hmm.
Charles, and Drew will get back together next Thursday. But at 7 in the hour, I'm gonna do
The
Wednesday
challenge.
nights, the
Yeah.
challenge. So let's get into Survivor, Charles. Hey Eric, hey Richie, I see you all in the chat. Um, let's just start from the beginning because the beginning shocked me, and I want you to kind of talk about why do you feel the yellow team dismantled the way they did. Like they just said, hey, we each for their own, and everybody started walking around trying to get their own, get in where they could fit in. I thought
Yeah.
the yellow team would stay strong and maybe pick up scragglers, but they were like,
Mm-mm.
no,
I
we
I
gonna
knew
be the
that was gonna
scragglers.
happen. Last review, I was like, Evie is going to get right back in Liana's face, trying to be like, I forgive you, da da da. Let's move. I knew that was gonna happen. So yeah, I kind of saw that
Xander
part coming.
too.
Yeah, and
Xander
Tiffany the
too.
mo. Tiffany was really ready to throw the whole island away just to be safe. So mm,
But why? They had such a strong tribal where they were willing to play the idol for any of the three. Just the next morning be like, okay, forget y'all. We out. Everybody for themselves.
well, they know that they're outnumbered, and no matter how good you are at the, I guess you could say strategy part, because it's some strategy for them to coerce that little fiasco at the tribal, but lightning doesn't strike twice. The group was not going to let them do that again. So they knew,
No.
oh, one of us is going home. So it better not be me.
I knew it last week. I said somebody on yellow has to go home this week. I thought they would flush an idol. They still let Xander keep that idol, but hey, I was like, okay, yellow is over. But it seems to be a lot. It could be a whole different dynamic next week, but we'll get to it. So the first thing we see is the reward challenge. And they have to pull rocks again. How crazy was it that rocks were pulled exactly the same as the first time?
Again, um, I didn't like the split. Obviously, I didn't like it the first time for the competition. I feel like this far into the game where they don't even give them rice, it's getting kind of brutal for the same people not to be eating every time. You know what I mean? The
But it was
production
a
should
pull
at
of a
least
draw. You couldn't help it.
the production should at least mix it up. Like, I don't know. Mm, I think there should be some forced mixing here, some forced diversity in the selections of the groups.
Yeah.
Because
Or it should be individual where people remember how they let people pick. Like I won the reward, but I get to pick 4 people to come with me. And then they might be like, oh well, we didn't have a merch fee, so you. Remember they used to let people
mm,
pick. You would win the
yeah,
reward and then I can pick who I want to come eat with me.
yeah, mm, I
What
guess
about the big display of what do you want to call it? Of Xander saying, look, I already ate, so Erica, you could play in my spot and I'll sit out.
strategy, 100% strategy.
Why
Xander
did that
knew.
place a bigger target on his back then?
Um, wait, let's go back to the first part. Why he did it? Because it's strategy. He knew that the person sitting out was going to get some type of power, some type
Yeah.
of like extra privilege. So he wanted that. The thing I didn't like was the fact that they didn't give Erica a chance to reject the trade. Jeff was
She
like,
did.
no. Watch it back. Jeff was like, Xander, you sure you want to do that? And he was like, yes. Da, 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 da. I gave his spiel. And then it was like, all right, you and y'all switch. It was not, they didn't ask Erica no
She could have
questions.
said, I'm good. Erica
Right, but
wanted to eat.
I didn't like the fact that they didn't give her really the opportunity to, do you want to confirm, deny, the switch?
Erica wanted to eat. She wasn't denying it. No.
Mm,
How
yeah.
about Xander sat and looked at every corner of that bench and still didn't find the advantage though?
Yeah, because he did it in a lazy way. That little boy was looking over the edge. He was looking over it. He didn't even, if it was me, baby, when I tell you I would have been on that floor, I would have been laying on that floor.
Because nobody was paying him attention.
I would have been all up that damn thing. And
Nobody was paying him attention.
The sooner you do it, the better. Because they got closer and closer towards the end. So when that horn is sound, they're not looking at him. They're trying to swim. They're trying to get through that thing. Yeah. I think I would have found it, but you never know in the moment.
And how fast did Evie solve that puzzle? Like, I couldn't even blink my TV good. Blink my eyes. And she was like, done. I studied this at home with some beads. Done.
I know, that's right.
Girl.
Evie, I'm not a fan, but Evie, this was a great episode for Evie. Overall, this was a good episode for her.
I agree. It was. I'm not a fan of Evie at all. I was hoping she would go home, but this episode, she has placed the target so big on her back. Like, you won. You pretty much won the reward. You won individual immunity. You came in second immunity the week before. Like, girl, how big of a threat do you want to be?
Right. Well, Miss Mama won individual immunity, so she was good.
She was good this week, but you ain't gonna win it every week. But I think Yellow might be back in the good, but we're gonna get to that at the end of the episode. Yeah. So they went off and they have grilled cheese sandwiches and chips, whatever. Mm-hmm. Not too much really went down with them, but over on the people who didn't eat, Nasir found papayas, mm-hmm. and they were going to eat the fruit, whatever. And Ricard comes back and said, I never had papaya. Let me taste that. Would you have been mad if Ricard put his fingers in the papaya after eating grilled cheese sandwiches? Or was it the starvation that made Shan so upset?
So I don't know how much papaya they had to share. It looked like he had like 4 big ones, 4 big mm-hmm. papayas, but maybe they only cut up 1 or 2 of them. I didn't get to see. We didn't get to see that much detail of it. But him reaching in without asking, I feel like was inappropriate, especially when you just finished eating. On a reward challenge, you were literally on the reward.
And you've been at both rewards, like you had the feast and the reward.
Yes, you don't come back from a reward and then ask for some rice out of the pot. You don't do that. That's they don't do that historically on the show. You do not do that.
Now Eric said it was shady.
It was shady. I think what's his name? Ricard. I think he's sneaky, snide, shady down boots. I never liked him. I've never liked him.
I'm starting to like Ricard. I think he's gonna find his way in.
You've always liked Ricard. I don't like him. To me, he's very snaky, he's very shady. He's not to be trusted in the game. So
he's not to be trusted, but I think he'll find a way. I agree with you. I feel like if he would have asked, like, I've never had papaya. Do you mind if I try a piece? Right. I think Shan would have been like, go ahead. Because it was this much. But I think it was the audacity of you just ate and you got your fingers in my food.
Right.
I understood Shan's energy, but Shan's
Yeah.
energy about to get her voted out.
Oh
Really
yeah,
quickly.
everybody knows that she's running things, so she's definitely a target. Definitely.
Is she running things or is she just loud? She's just vocal
Well,
or is she
according
running
to the
things?
cast, they know that she likes to tell people what to do and give orders, so that's running things in their mind because they the ones voting.
Can she not see that? Because I know we jumping over, but let's just talk about it since we're talking about it.
Mhm.
Deshaun already gave her a warning, like, you're telling me what to do instead of listening to me. She's already been, can she not see that when within herself, or is that just a personality trait of maybe being a pastor and she's used to being a leader?
Okay, so I have a kind of different take on this because I don't agree with Deshaun in this situation. And you know that's my
Oh,
boy.
okay.
You know that's my boy. You know that's my
Okay.
winner pick. I don't agree with him in this situation. Um, Watching him talk throughout this episode reminded me of like my younger self, where um, I always wanted to have a hand, like in group projects. I always wanted to have a hand in choosing things,
Mm-hmm.
so you can feel important. But he has a personal issue with the fact that the group makes decisions without asking for his approval. It's not just Shan. Because even at the end, when am I frozen?
No.
Okay. When they are talking about changing the vote, that whole group discusses it and the whole group agrees to something. And then he um is outside the group and they're like, well, we're gonna switch it to Tiffany or whatever. That's what they say. Switch it to Tiffany. And he takes it personal, like, well, nobody asked me, like, I'm gonna sit down. That's what, like, okay, we can stop. And then Shan comes around to him like, well, babe, we can talk about it, we're gonna, and he was like, don't babe me, da 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 da. He wants to feel right. He wants to feel important to the decision being made, which I don't think is a reflection on Shan. I think that's more of an internal issue with himself.
I agree, but let's get to it because parts I agree totally with what you're saying, but a part of me felt like, no, wait, I totally agree because I felt like Deshaun wanting to get rid of Desir was stupid.
Yeah,
So
he just threw that out
I
there. Let's get rid of Nasir. And
then
then
he threw that
Shan
out
didn't
there,
agree.
and
And
yeah,
he got mad that she didn't agree.
I, let's get to that because we got to get to the immunity challenge first. Then we'll get to the how the votes because I got something to say about Heather. I definitely got to get your opinion about Heather. But let's get to the immunity challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff recognizes half of y'all are starving. So if y'all willing to throw this challenge, I'll give you some rice. So that ain't what he said, but that's pretty much
That was what he did, though.
what he meant. Like, y'all throw this, I'll give you some rice. So they did whatever little negotiations done. Because he's talking about 7. That's damn near everybody if 7 people step out. It turned out really that all the people with immunity idols stepped out plus Ricard. So 4 people. Ricard must have felt extremely safe to step out, or he must have felt like if it comes down to me, Shanna played on me.
Ricard did it with an attitude. Ricard didn't
He
want
didn't
to
want to
step
do it.
out, and when he did step out, he did a. So it wasn't genuine. He wasn't doing that for the group. He was doing that because his girl Shan did it, and she kept looking back at him like, "Are you not going to step up for the group? Are you not going to?" He wasn't going to go home anyway.
No, I felt like he was safe anyway because
Mm-hmm.
no one is mentioning his name. No one is saying Ricard's name. But I wouldn't have stepped out there. I don't have immunity idols like you, Xander, and Nasir. Y'all can step. Those 3 stepping out means nothing. Those 3 stepping out for the group, we doing it for the group for Rice, means nothing because they have safety.
Right.
regardless. Now, if Deshaun, Danny, why they didn't step out? They clearly weren't in any danger of going home. I think I would have stuck with Jeff.
Selfishness.
Y'all need 5 or 6 to step out because 3 of y'all safe. I need 6 of y'all to step out or no rice.
And to me, I was wondering why some of the like why Tiffany wasn't moving. Well, because
Tiffany, none of yellow could step out.
she was a part of that yellow. But the okay, the rules of the stepping out was it's like if you're not gonna win the challenge anyways, you might as well step out so you can have something to eat when you get back. So you can at least eat and strategize. Because if you lose, you're gonna be hungry and lost, you know?
But that's not fair because I would have never expected Evie and Heather to be the last 2 on their tippy toes.
Not Heather, no. See, Evie, I feel like Evie, to me, she's been earlier in the group competitions, she wasn't that good. But now, individually, as we saw her building the blocks with her feet, and now this thing with the block on her head, she's pretty good at individual competitions so far. So,
Yeah, I mean, let's see how long she can do it because the second she doesn't have that idol, she's going home.
yeah. Hi, why do you think, and this is my question to you, why do you think she's such a big target? Like, out of everybody there, why Evie? Like, why is she the number one?
She came in second, the first individual immunity. She almost won that. She sat up here talking, bragging. I practiced this in my backyard. I saw it season, whatever, and I did it in my backyard with some beads. So she pretty much solved the puzzle like that. Then you won on your tippy toes. So she's a threat. She could win. She's a threat. She has to go.
But I mean, even before, like, as soon as they merged, it seems like she was a target.
I don't think she's necessarily the biggest threat target. I think they want Xander gone, but Xander has the idol. So they have to attack
His girl, yeah.
his group. So I can't get Xander because maybe they thought Xander not going to play this idol for Evie, but he did. He made that big show last week on Saving Evie with whatever they did with Liana. And I don't want to go back to all that last week. So Evie is a big target. And then as they're trying to find a way to get out Xander, Evie is showing up in the challenges now. And Evie,
she's stepping up.
Evie on the TV screen has a cockiness about her that I can see on TV. So clearly in the tribe, they can see all those side eyes and all that cocky stuff Evie does. They can see that too. So she's probably not likable.
That too. I could see that. I could definitely see that. We definitely talked about this pre-merge. The opportunity, I guess, of her and Ricard working together. They're both LGBT, but that didn't go to
it doesn't look like that's gonna happen.
Ever, right. It's like we don't even see him and her together in the same shots ever. So
Well, but what is that child? I want to call her Ebony now. Well, I was going to get to this comment when we got to Deshaun, but they were saying Deshaun wanted to have a safe vote that wasn't needed. They just need to split the votes between Xander and Tiffany and be done with it. I agree, but to me, voting out Nasir wasn't a safe vote. That's more complicated than anything.
Yeah, but why does Nasir need to go home? Like, Nasir is nobody's threat right now. Like,
that's the original plan. They were going around the beach saying we're splitting the votes. Tiffany, Xander, we're gonna flush Xander's idol. Then Danny, who you've already said is dumb, Danny comes around and says, "Hey, instead of Tiffany, why not put the votes on Nasir?" And I was at home like, "What? Nasir is in your alliance. Nasir is never gonna cross you. He has an idol that he probably might play for you if you play your cards right. Why are you messing with Nasir?"
Right. He's
And
a
then
part of the
Deshaun
boys
comes up and
clique.
was like, hey, I kind of agree with Danny. And I was like, what?
Yeah, that whole trying to flip it on Nasir and then getting mad at Shan because she didn't agree. Like, you're not even asking me for my opinion. No, it's a dumb move. So we're not even gonna discuss it. Like, I low key felt her on that. Like,
Danny was on All I Know. I agree. That was one thing I wanted to say. I saw what Deshaun was talking about with Shan. Like, she does cut you off. Like, no, we ain't doing that. You do want to give people the optics of being heard, but that was a dumb move. And somebody had to say, no, we're not doing that. That's dumb. Why would we ever do Nasir? And then they threw Heather's name out there. Well, let's tell them Heather is going to be the vote.
I think Shan's doing too much groveling though. When at the okay, I'm going forward, but at the tribal council when she's basically crouched down in front of him, like, babe, let's talk, da da da. And he's like, don't babe me, trying to like, we promised we would talk to each other before da 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 da. All of that groveling is putting him up here. His head is already this damn big because he was on the winning tribe for the whole first half of the show. And then he has this complex where he needs to feel like he's a part of the final decision. And you're groveling
I'll
towards
go
him.
back to this comment. I
And
went back to that comment. But I have a little point to that, Charles. Yes, Deshaun's head is way too big. But Deshaun has more power in the game than Shan. Because if Deshaun wanted to say Shan can go, Shan would go. It's two greens. And Ricard is already on the edge.
I don't agree with that. To be honest,
who's stepping up to save Shan?
I'm talking about
Besides
if you want to do a
Liana?
battle between Deshaun and Shan, if that was an episode, Deshaun would go home. Shan could get Ricard, Liana, and all the yellows to vote out Deshaun. She could flip on Deshaun and Danny quickly and go with the yellows.
Yeah, but only because Deshaun was already their initial target. But I think if Blue holds strong,
Deshaun is expendable.
next week,
He really
if they
is.
do that next week, it could be a 5-5 split.
I'm just saying.
Shan has an idol, so Deshaun can't easily get out Shan. She has an idol.
Deshaun needs to be careful because I already saw the great game playing possibility for him, but with the attitude and the way he's like needing to be validated is bothering me. So it's going to bother other people.
And let's talk about part 2 because we got to really talk about everything that was going on the beach. Part 2, we had this live tribe. That's what they like to call it, live tribals, when everyone is up and around. Mm-hmm. When you're in a live tribal and everyone is scrambling right before the votes, I don't have time to baby you. I don't have time to be like, oh, sweetheart, let me hear you all the way through. We trying to say, we ain't doing this. We trying to lock in a vote. We don't have time to be like, okay, wait, let's let Deshaun have a minute. What does Deshaun have to say? Like, we're in a live tribal. So the second time, I didn't understand his energy, and I was all for Shan. Like, what are you doing? You want to have a scene in the middle? But I didn't agree with Shan. Like, okay, let's just vote out Heather. Like, why can't we just stick to the plan? Which it seems like is what they did anyway. Now let's get to Heather because I don't understand what she was doing. They had a very nice tribal council. Everyone said what they had to say. Jeff was like, y'all ready to vote? They're like, yeah, let's vote. Let's go ahead and get Tiffany up out of here. Heather is like, no, hold on. And whispers to Tiffany, just trust me, girl. I got your back. And then starts to say, let's vote out Nasir. I say Heather is either a genius or she's an idiot. Which one, Charles?
I didn't understand. Okay, I understood she may have needed some camera time because bitch ain't been there.
She ain't been on the show.
But I don't see the result of what she did. Like, was there any point?
I don't know the purpose.
Like, or did producers tell her to do that? Like, is it becoming a thing to like, oh, let's get up and talk every tribal? That's getting corny. Like, because Jeff was like, okay, it's time to vote, and then they were like, no, 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 we want to talk. No,
It's no
we're
point in
voting.
talking if the result isn't gonna anything's not gonna come from it. If we're gonna do this huge live tribal and still just vote out Tiffany, I didn't understand the point.
No, it was, to me, it was for the camera. To me, that's what it gave. It gave. Oh, the fans love when this happens. It's spicy. Let's put some sriracha on the end of the episode, and it
But
was.
you also tank your game because you're walking around saying, let's get out Nasir. I didn't see Heather and Nasir having a bad relationship. So you just ruined the relationship with Nasir. Now
For
you
a
have
moment,
everyone over
right?
here for a moment saying, wait, Heather doing too much. Let's get rid of Heather. So now you have everyone over here thinking you can't be trusted. You're doing too much because you could flip it at tribal. I don't understand her purpose. Like, what was the purpose? It's like you just ruined your game for some camera time.
Right. For a moment on TV. Yeah. I don't. To be honest, I don't. People on Twitter were like, "Ooh, she's killing it." Killing what? Like her game? Yeah, maybe.
If she would have gotten Nasir out, I would have like, oh, Heather is a genius. Because I was like, is she a genius? Like, is she really about to flip the vote? Or is she an idiot and just I
Yeah,
was
if
so
she flipped
confused
it,
watching
you're
it.
right. If she flipped it away from Tiffany, then it would have been like, oh, okay, Heather did something. No, she did not do that. So,
It was pointless. She just made an enemy out of Nasir and
yeah.
oh well.
But that's about it. I think it was a good episode. I don't even
It was a
trust
great
those like
episode.
those little flash forward scenes at the end. I don't even watch those because that's just editing. They try to make something out of whatever. Um,
What about every time it was a live tribal, Xander would look at Ricard and Ricard would be like, just play your idol. Just play.
he said it like 5 times. Just play it. Play your idol. Play it. Play your idol. I'm telling you, man, play it. Play your idol.
That's the easiest way to get someone not to play their idol.
To keep
Is by
telling them to
telling
do
them
it.
to play it. Right. Like,
I
okay, I'm
see
not
that's
going
the
home.
thing too, with my anxiety, the way it's set up on the inside, I would have to be in a very, very good spot in the game to hold on to an idol. I already know if I was
And
on the
he's
show,
not in a good spot. He's a gambler. He is a
right,
gambler.
I would be the type of person where if I feel like my name is even coming up, baby, she's coming out.
Right.
Because I'm
I
not,
ain't going home tonight. So I don't know what y'all getting ready to do, but I ain't going home
no.
tonight.
Charles would not be the one going home with an idol in my pocket. Never would happen.
No.
That would never
I
happen.
agree. I agree. Let's see what they say. I'm shocked Tiffany went home because certain people had stated that she was the winner.
They were saying that on
Who
like
said she
little
was the
blog,
winner?
like little blogs and stuff. They were like, "Oh, spoiler alert! Tiffany won the season or whatever."
I never knew that. I
Mm-mm.
knew Tiffany wasn't gonna stay. Heather is the one who, if she would have messed up, Heather could have easily slid into second place and got her a good $100,000. But she done screwed that up for herself. Tiffany was always going home. Tiffany doesn't know how to talk to people. She was always gonna go home for me. But as of right now, where the game is, we're at the final 10. We know Tiffany is
Mm-hmm.
the first person in the jury. I think Tiffany will be a very bitter juror, but that will be seen. Who do you think is in the best position as of right now
To win the game,
to win the game, get to the final three or two, how many they're going to have, but in the best position right now to get to the end of the game?
I think right now, I think Erica will get to the end of the game. I think Liana, I think Liana and Erica are maybe my two people that I think right now, as we know the game, would get the furthest. Everybody else, somebody has talked about. Liana is really like kind of. She's only was talked about by the yellow team,
Nobody's
but
talking about Ricard.
they're getting cut down. Um, Ricard would be the third. Yeah. So if it's a final three, I would say those three. Yeah.
I kind of feel the opposite of you, Charles. I feel like the idol holders are gonna go far because it's very clear they're scared to take shots at idol holders. They're scared of the backlash of an idol being played and oh, who might go home. I think they're gonna let those people who have idols ride all the way down to what is the final five, final
Mm-hmm.
six,
Yeah, they can't. I don't
and
think they
hold
can play
on.
them past 5. Mm-hmm.
So I think they're definitely gonna make it down to the five. So I think Shan, Xander, and Nasir are gonna make it far. I think the idol holders are gonna make it far in the game. Because I don't
Um,
see any of them right now playing that idol for anyone but themselves.
I don't agree. I think with the people with the idols, especially the seasons that I've seen, we can definitely go from having like 3 people with idols to everybody using their idols at one tribal council, and because
Yeah.
everybody is scared.
At the five, the last one.
Yeah, like the 5, 6. Yeah. So, I think they could possibly go very far if people aren't going to look at them. But I see the cast already looking at people with idols like Nasir. Nasir has an idol. If people go for him, the idol excuse could be a reason. Xander has an idol, don't he? Yeah, they're gonna.
Xander and
I
Shan.
Yeah, so I could definitely see the group voting for Xander. I could see them voting for Nasir. Not really Shan. Well, Shan, if she keeps being bossy like Khalees, then yeah, she
I don't
might be the
know.
one to go.
Eric thinks Xander might make it to top three. I can see Xander finding a way to top three.
Hell no. Xander is not going to be, Xander is not going to be in no damn final 3. I'm sorry to say it. Xander is not there.
Xander or Evie, if they get to the end, they win.
Evie getting
Erica
to the
is a
end is
shocker.
not likely. Evie.
Evie's not getting to the end. As soon as she doesn't have that necklace, she's out. Because Xander ain't playing that idol on her no more.
Evie is not going to the end. Tiffany had a
Shan
better
is
chance
headed
of getting
for
to
it.
the end. She's gone.
Shan is headed for a downfall. I think Deshaun loses fire. What if Danny ass is sitting at the end? What does he even say?
I still think Deshaun could win the show. I still think that. But he need to check that little thing he got going on. He gonna have to check that.
I think once you have a target, you're always gonna have that target. People will see Deshaun as the leader. Everyone wants the leader out. Somebody said they saw on Reddit firsthand that Tiffany would win.
Yeah,
I'm glad that was the wrong. I'm happy that I don't like spoilers, but I'm happy that Tiffany didn't win. I kind of like Nasir. I still like Shan. I wouldn't be surprised if Ricard and Evie got further. Evie is not getting further. Evie could go home next week. They're not gonna let Evie get too far.
Evie would literally have to win all of these damn competitions. Evie's gonna have to win individual immunity every week until somebody else makes themselves like a really big target. That week, maybe she's safe. Maybe.
I don't know. I think Evie goes home next week if she doesn't win.
I think Evie gets votes every week. Especially if she doesn't go home, I think she will get a vote every single time she's up for elimination.
I still see maybe they might still drag Heather and Erica along.
I think Erica is like the Casey of the show right now. She's just like how Casey was on Big Brother. She was just there. It was just Erica ain't got. I thought it was gonna be more blowback from her switching the game, but apparently not. So
no one cares about that. Well, anything else you have for last week's
Mm-mm.
episode? It was a really good episode. And I can't wait to
It
see what's
was
going to happen next week.
Big Brother, not Big Brother. Survivor has started as of last week, so yeah, it should be good going forward.
Well, I can't wait to see who wins this because this is one where it's not just one clear winner that we foresee. Like, I can see a ton of people making it to the end and winning this game. I can see it
Well,
going a
I've
lot of different
never
ways.
the seasons that I've watched of Survivor. There's to be honest very few seasons where for me I was like, oh, that person's gonna win for sure, and then they won.
It's
Like I
usually
kind
always one or two people that I'm like, okay, it's between those two, and somebody has to take the other out. But it's a lot of different terms that this game can still go. So I don't
yeah,
know.
because with Survivor they make certain players the main character, like the protagonist of the show, for a few
Mm-hmm.
episodes, and then they go home. Like JD. JD got the most camera time
Airtime, yes,
at
in
the
the
beginning.
beginning.
They made him the main character, but that was because he was going home. So,
I agree with Miguel. He says there is no clear winner at it. So it's very
mm-mm.
interesting to see who gets it. And I totally agree. There's no one getting like a winner's edit.
Nope. That's why it's gonna be somebody in the shadows. It's gonna be
I
Deshaun,
still don't
Erica,
think Erica.
Liana. To me, those are my
I
three.
don't see Liana. Because at the end of the day, you have to have a resume. Now, it's still a lot of game left to play, but none of those people right now have a resume. Liana, the one thing that could have got her a resume, she totally blew. Like, she ruined it. She made herself look dumb at tribal council in front of everybody.
Right.
So, well, that's it. Someone has an All Stars question. Did you watch All Stars?
I did not.
Okay, well, Charles can't answer that.
You can answer it if you watched it.
I can answer it, but in 12 minutes, I'm getting ready to do the challenge live next. And I watched All Stars, but I don't even plan on reviewing All Stars this week because I don't like when the episodes don't have a conclusion. Like,
Right.
we didn't see any, like, we don't even know who got voted into the elimination. So it's like, I saw a challenge and I saw a lot of people come back that I really am looking forward to seeing, but the episode was just kind of like a huge introduction. So it's nothing really to review. But I'm very excited for the
Whew.
season.
All right, you guys. Thank
Very.
y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for supporting Kiss My Cheeks. Thank you for supporting Angie.
Charles
Y'all
is
been.
watching basketball, y'all.
I am.
That's
My
why
team is
that's why
halftime.
he ready to go, because Charles love to talk. But no, we are gonna end it here because I do have a challenge coming up in 10 minutes. So Charles, thank you for coming to review Survivor
I'm
with
so
me.
proud of you, Angie. Though I'm, I am so happy where your like platforms and channels and everything is going,
I'm
and
learning. I'm
the
getting it
stuff you
together.
got going on in the background coming up. I'm excited for you. And like now when you go live, the girls are tuning in, they are chatting, they are engaging, and I love it. I love it.
I love it too. I appreciate you all sticking with me every week. I appreciate you all sticking with me on Thursdays or Fridays because you never know when the live is going to pop up. I try to do Thursdays, but next week, if you all didn't hear, while you're on here, next Thursday will be the challenge trio with myself, Charles, and Drew. And of course, me and Charles will be back for Survivor next Thursday. The only reason I was out this week is because I pulled my back and I couldn't do anything yesterday. I had to just rest. So thank you all for tuning in. Charles, he just restocked. I can't wait to get my order in. He has, you all know about the ginger vapor rub, but he has an all natural body wash that is great for dry skin and it also has the muscle relaxing, and that's what I'm looking for. I can't wait to get it. He just restocked. So check out Charles Warren Presents
.com.
or charleswarren.com. check that out. He gonna have a good Black Friday sale coming up next week too. So again, 10 minutes. I'll be back for the challenge. We'll have a good time talking about what they didn't show on the episode. And I'll see you all next week for Survivor. Bye.
Peace.